Hello everyone, I'm MVL and welcome to my video game pickups for January 2018. That's right, it's a new year and I've got some new games to add to my collection. First up, I picked up some retro games from Games World Bodmin. I really love shopping from Games World Bodmin, they've always got some great stuff for me to pick up. And first up I got Demon Sword, Release the Power for the NES. Now these first two loose cartridge games I bought knowing they were NTSC, but I could play them perfectly on my Cyber Gadget Retro Freak, which is how you're seeing them. This is a hack and slash side-scrolling platformer. You run around levels cutting down your enemies and climbing trees. Eventually you may find a key which will allow you to get through a door to fight a boss. When you beat that boss you get a power-up and become even stronger. This game is sweet and I love collecting for the NES, which brings me to my next game. Next up we have Destination Earthstar for the NES. Another pickup from Games World Bodmin. This game is a space shooter and it's really cool. The unique thing about this game is it has two modes of play. You start the game in first person where you can fly around a huge area to find enemy ships. There's a mini-map on the corner of your screen to guide you, and you can land on planets to refuel your ship, repair it, or recharge your weapons. Once you've tracked down and shot down all of the enemy forces, you can then land on an enemy base. Once you do that, the game changes entirely to a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. And this mix of playstyle keeps the game fresh and exciting. And it's impressive they're able to do that on the hardware. I enjoy both modes of play and this game is awesome. Again, this was another NTSC cartridge, but I can play it fine on my Retro Freak. So that's Destination Earthstar on the NES. Next up we have some boxed games, and here is Gauntlet II on the NES. Another pickup from Games World Bodmin. And these boxed games are PAL, or to be more exact, PAL A. Gauntlet is a top-down dungeon explorer game that I really enjoy, and I have been looking for more games in the series. The arcade mega hit comes to the NES. Experience all the genuine arcade action, including the original digitized sound and spellbinding graphics. And experience every one of the over 100 arcade mazes complete with all the sorcerer's secret rooms, traps, monster generators, transporters, force fields and villains. It's all straight from the arcades and it's all here. And like the arcade game, up to 4 players can join the action at any time with Nintendo's NES satellite transmitter or force score. This is the gauntlet you won't lay down. That's Gauntlet 2 for the NES. Next up we have Solstice, The Quest for the Staff of Demnos for the NES. This was a sweet find from CEX, great to get this in the box. I already have the sequel to this, Equinox, so I was very excited to pick this up. From out of the darkness shall arise a challenge to your wisdom. Join Shadax's quest as he searches through the deadly fortress of Callisto for the 6 pieces of the magical staff of Demnos, in a brave attempt to save Princess Eleanor from the evil magician Morbius. The game sells itself as an exciting new game for devoted NES players, featuring over 250 challenging rooms to explore, brilliant 3D graphics, music and sound effects, powerful potions and magical keys, and fearless evil characters to defeat. It also states that it's a non-violent game the entire family can enjoy. Solstice for the NES. Next up we have Super Hydlide for the Sega Mega Drive. Another sweet pickup from Games World Bodmin. I have Hydlide for the NES, so the prospect of a Super Hydlide at 16-bit for the Sega Mega Drive excited me. This game is a top-down RPG. You start in a town, and as soon as you make your way out, you run into enemies and attack them. The game boasts a unique combination of action and role-playing. Enter the realm of myths and legends with Super Hydlide. The fairy tale council feared that the same evil in the legends was back again. A wise old oracle was among them. He predicted the second coming of evil. He also spoke of a young man who could save Fairyland from its gravest crisis. A young man was chosen to find the reason and source of the evil. As the people gathered to bid him good luck, they couldn't help but wonder if they had chosen the right one. What fate awaits our hero and Fairyland? Only you can answer those questions. That's Super Hydlide for the Sega Mega Drive. And next up we have Legend for the Game Boy. And I picked this up from Games World Bodmin. This is a Japanese game, but it piqued my curiosity. Legend is an obscure Japanese role-playing game by Quest. It was very difficult to find any information about this game, and of course there was no English patch available. You play most of the game from a top-down view, similar to Zelda. That's how you explore the world map and inside towns and buildings. The combat is turn-based like a Final Fantasy game where you pit all 4 members of your party against any monster that pops out in front of you. Overall, this game looks great, especially for a Game Boy game, and it's very playable even with a language barrier. That's Legend for the Game Boy. Next up we have Global Gladiators for the Sega Game Gear. There may be graphically superior ports of this game, but considering I picked this up for £1 in CEX, I can't complain there. Joe and Mac are back in this McDonald's themed game, but don't let that put you off, this is actually a pretty fun platformer. The Global Gladiators must navigate each level and collect enough tokens to progress to the next. On your way you'll encounter many monsters which you can jump over or attack with your water pistol. This is a surprisingly fun game despite the branding, and I'm pleased to pick this up at the low price of £1, which is the same as a value burger I think at a certain family restaurant. So that's Global Gladiators for the Sega Game Gear. Next up we have Castlevania for the PlayStation 2. This game is known as Castlevania Lament of Innocence in America. Now this is a really cool hack and slash game. The gameplay reminds me very much of Devil May Cry. You play as Leon Belmont as he seeks to hunt down a vampire. Funnily enough, the story of this game reminds me of the D&D campaign I'm live streaming right now, The Curse of Strahd. By the nature that the vampire enjoys toying with Leon, forcing him to play through the game to get to him. This game is Konami's famous Castlevania series, making its debut on the PlayStation 2 in full 3D. The game features incredible graphics and gameplay to deliver the most enticing Castlevania experience ever created. But really, I just want to get in there and start whipping zombies and candlesticks. The graphics look slick, the gameplay is fun, and this looks really sweet. Castlevania for the PlayStation 2. Next up we have Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. Although this game is in a disgusting platinum case, I picked it up for only a few pounds in a charity shop. And as you know, only the best-selling games qualify for platinum, so you know this is going to be good. And this game is good, it's really fun. The majority of the game sees you chasing down bad guys in your vehicle and shooting at them from the window, which is fun in itself. But you also have the option to leap from your vehicle to theirs and take it over. When the streets have returned to gangland violence, when the terrorized public have given up hope, it's time for extreme justice. This game gives you the ability to leap between speeding vehicles, hunt down criminals on foot, and dive into explosive multiplayer action. That's Pursuit Force Extreme Justice on the PSP. Now next up we have Leisure Suit Larry Magna Cum Laude Uncut. Now, Magna Cum Laude means with great honour in reference to the game's college theme, though I expect the real reason that was used is just for the word cum in the title. This game is a departure from the classic Larry games being a 3D game with an open world environment. When Larry encounters a lady he can interact with, you get a mini-game over the dialogue. This is where you try and steer the conversation in a positive direction. To do this you, as a sperm, and I'm not kidding, have to avoid the bad icons and hit the hearts to keep the conversation lively. If you end the minigame and are in the green, then it's all good. If you don't, then you have to start it over again. The tagline is, help Larry earn a BA in TNA. With gorgeous students everywhere, college dweeb Larry Lovage is chasing around more than his diploma. He is trying to live up to the legend of his uncle Larry Laffer, everyone's favourite polyester playboy. It's the next generation of Leisure Suit Larry, with new twists on all the outrageous games and romantic entanglements which made the original such a hilarious hit. You can explore a real-time 3D world filled with sexy and outrageous humour, meet loads of hot babes in 25 interactive locations. Check out the Girl Storm, Front House and Strip Club. Oh my goodness. And the game has over 90,000 words of spoken dialogue. You'll never know what Larry will say next. Well, there you go. That's Leisure Suit Larry on the original Xbox. Next up we have Binary Domain for the Xbox 360. This is a Gears of War style shooter where you blow up tons of robots. The machine age has begun. As the lines start to blur between man and machine, you must enter 2080 Tokyo fight your way through their robotic defenses, and find who is creating highly advanced humanoids that are beginning to infiltrate society undetected. You must analyze each enemy type and efficiently dispose of them. You can turn the tide in battle by earning your squad's trust and having them fight alongside you. I will add that this game features Kinect voice activation to command your squad, but you don't really need to use that. In fact, you really don't need to use any analyzing or cooperation, you just blast your enemies until they're done. That's Binary Domain for the Xbox 360. Next up we have Dark Void for the Xbox 360. This is a third-person shooter with some very interesting modes of play. You start off the game flying around with a jetpack shooting down spaceships. Later on the story develops into some ground missions where you get to use cover and attack your enemies on the ground. So it's very cool how they mix up the gameplay in this game. Step into the Void, a sinister parallel world of hostile aliens, powerful weapons, and deep mystery. Fly anywhere, fight everywhere, rise up. This is the first fully 3D action shooter with gravity-defying vertical combat. Dark Void's unique combination of jetpack-powered fighting and ground-based combat brings a thrilling new dynamic to video games. Experience the seamless transition between flight and fight in this epic adventure from Capcom. That's Dark Void for the Xbox 360. Next up we have NeverDead for the Xbox 360. This is an awesome third-person hack-and-slash shoot-'em-up game. You play an immortal demon hunter who loves to cut down monsters and shoot the hell out of everything. An interesting thing about this game is you can have your limbs cut off during battle, but as long as you get back to them or regrow them, you're fine. You can even be reduced to just your head, and in fact in points you may need to be to get through small spaces. Your partner, however, is not immortal, so you will have to protect her if she gets in a lot of trouble or bites off more than she can chew. 500 years old, immortal, demon hunter, never dead. Broken, battered, burned, never dead. Disarmed, dismembered, decapitated, never dead. Bryce Boltman is a 500-year-old demon hunter condemned to live forever. He hunts demons for the government, aided by his mortal assistant Arcadia. To save himself and humanity, he must face the Demon King who cursed him those long years ago. This game is fast-paced and monstrously fun. That's NeverDead for the Xbox 360. And next up we have Ninja Blade for the Xbox 360. This is an Xbox 360 exclusive, a combination of hack-and-slash gameplay and quick-time elements. The game delivers on extreme action with the hack-and-slash combat, but I'm not really a fan of the quick-time events, although they do look really cool. As modern-day ninja Ken Ogawa, swing, fly and slice your way into extreme action to save humankind from obliteration. This game takes you beyond the blades, master an arsenal of weapons and abilities like ninja vision, environmental scan, superhuman speed, explosive ninjutsu powers and fatal finishing blows. There's unrelenting action from street to skyscraper. This modern-day ninja has no limit to where he can battle the forces of evil, run up walls, leap off helicopters, and grapple from the rooftop to rooftop. And there's stunning cinematography. Experience a sense of scale like never before as the game directs you to quick-time events where you can play through dynamic in-game cutscenes. Why couldn't it just be a normal hack-and-slash game? That's Ninja Blade for the Xbox 360. Next up is Section 8 for the Xbox 360. This game is a cool third-person shooter based around huge map battles and take-and-hold gameplay. On the war-torn planets of tomorrow, mankind's greatest battle is about to begin. Experience the ultimate in multiplayer combat with up to 32 players online and enlist for future warfare in the single-player campaign. You begin each mission by dropping down from your spaceship. You also have limited use of a jetpack which can give you an aerial advantage over your enemies. That's Section 8 for the Xbox 360. And finally we have Singularity for the Xbox 360. This is a really awesome survival horror first-person shooter. As you dive into the story of this game, things start going crazy with monsters appearing. The more you delve deeper into the story, the more you uncover from the past. And eventually you gain the power to manipulate time inside the game. This game was really fun and I just couldn't put it down. This is really scary and really intense gameplay. Learn the truth behind a massive cover-up of this catastrophic singularity, an event that fractured time and threatens the world as we know it. Armed with powerful, advanced weaponry and the experimental time manipulation device, fight enemies from the past, the present, and abominations caught somewhere in between. Fight the past, save the future, and stop the singularity. A fantastic horror game for the Xbox 360, that's Singularity. And that's it! Those are all of my video game pickups for January 2018. Thank you for watching, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.